Hello and welcome to Clinton's Corner. My name is Clinton John and thanks for joining me once again on this fine Monday evening. I hope you all had a fantastic public holiday here in South Africa. As you know, Monday, bringing you all the latest sports news from the NBA, the NFL, MSL T20, Blitzpoker, pretty much any sport that I really like or enjoy, or the really popular ones. I bring to you guys every Monday. So without further ado, let me get straight into it then. Just before I start, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to comment below if there's anything else you guys would like me to cover, as well as subscribe here on the Fair Digest YouTube channel, as well as our online magazine, thefairdigest.com. So straight into things then, some basketball for you guys, NBA. So the Eastern Conference is heating up. The Milwaukee Bucks, in their last game, they won 125-108 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 29 points. Chris Middleton, 24 points. They moved now to a 24-3 record on top of the Eastern Conference. Then the Miami Heat in second place. They took on the Dallas Mavericks and they beat them 122-118. Jimmy Butler coming in with 27 points there. They are on 19-7 on the season. That is the Miami Heat. Then in third place is the Philadelphia 76ers. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets 108-89. Spencer Dinwiddie getting 24 points there for the Nets. The 76ers have a 20-8 record in third place in the East there. And then fourth in the Eastern Conference is the Boston Celtics. They also lost, and they lost to the 76ers 115-109 in their last game. And then Joel Embiid, he scored 38 points and had 13 rebounds. Celtics now with a 17-7 record in the East there. Then moving on to the Western Conference for you guys. The LA Lakers still lead the way. Their last game they beat the Atlanta Hawks 101-96. LeBron James with 32 points and 13 rebounds. I think he got 7 assists as well. LeBron James just carrying on his great form at the ripe old age of nearly 35. They are 24-3 on the season, same record as the Bucks. Yes, Bucks. Then the LA Clippers, they've moved now into second place in the West. Despite losing to the Bulls 105-108, I think it was, a 109. Zach LaVine in this one for the Bulls having a stellar game with 31 points. Clippers struggle without Kawhi Leonard continues, and as they slip to a 20-8 record. Then the Mavs, they obviously lost their last game to the Heat, but the Mavs have a 17-8 record in the third place in the Western Conference. Then the Denver Nuggets, they are in fourth place. They beat the New York Knicks 111-105. Nikola Jokic in this one with 25 points. Nuggets also with a 17-8 record. So I think the Rockets are just behind them with a 17-9 record. So things really stacked there in the Western Conference. Western Conference looks the stronger conference at the moment. If you in the top four in the East, that's pretty much going to be the contenders there. But looking at the Western Conference, there might be a few surprises in store there for those top two sides there. Then just moving on, guys, to some NFL action. The Ravens, they took on the Jets and they beat them 42-24. Lamar Jackson with 212 yards passing and 5 touchdown passes, as well as 86 yards rushing. Great. Lamar Jackson is absolutely running away with the MVP race right now. I don't think anyone's going to catch him. Unanimous MVP for me by the end of the season. No one can argue that. And then the Seahawks, they took on the Carolina Panthers. They beat the Panthers 30 points to 24. Russell Wilson in this one throwing for 286 and 2 touchdowns. Chris Carson also rushing for 133 yards in that one. So a good win there for the Seahawks. Then the Patriots, they took on a pretty woeful Bengals side. 12-1 coming into the game. No, sorry, 1-12, 1 win and 12 losses. Yeah, the Patriots, they won the game 34-13, but they really struggled offensively. Tom Brady only throwing for 128 and the 2 touchdown passes. One was quite a long screen pass to, I think it was Burkhead or James White. Yeah, so the defense really carrying the Patriots at the moment. Stephon Gilmore had a pick 6, an interception which he scored from against the Bengals. So the special teams and the defense really carrying the Patriots at the moment. Can they carry them all the way to the Super Bowl? I doubt it. I think Tom Brady just doesn't have enough weapons to use at the moment, and I think we've seen sides cut them up before, the Ravens and the Chiefs. So I just don't think the Pats have it in them this season. But you never know. They've still got the greatest quarterback of all time, so they could still surprise many. Then the Packers, they took on the Bears. Aaron Rodgers throwing for 2 or 3 and 1 touchdown in the win, 21-13 over the Bears. Aaron Jones rushing for 51 yards and 2 touchdowns there. Kansas City Chiefs, they took on the Broncos in the snow. Pat Mahomes didn't mind that though. 340 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Great performance from him once again. Travis Kelce with 142 yards receiving. So clearly they struck a chord early on and just kept on going. The Chiefs beat the Broncos 20-3. Then the Texans, they took on the Titans. This is an important game in their division. Obviously number 1 and 2 in the division, with the Titans overtaking the Texans last week. But the Texans got one over them, 24-21. Deshaun Watson throwing for 243 and 2 touchdowns. Carlos Hyde running for 104. As well as DeAndre Hopkins had 119 yards receiving. So I think they leapfrog the Titans now in that division. Then the Cowboys, they took on the Rams. Now the Rams have been a much improved side, looking much better, looking like almost the Super Bowl team of last season. Looking like they turned a corner until they ran into the Cowboys. Cowboys winning this one 44-21. Dak Prescott with 212 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. Ezekiel Elliott rushing for 117, but that's not even, and 2 touchdowns, but that's not even the half of it. Tony Pollard rushed for 131 yards. So clearly the run game working there for the Cowboys. Then the 49ers with a shock result of the week when they lost to the Atlanta Falcons 29-22. Matt Ryan throwing for 210 and 2 touchdowns in this one, and Julio Jones with 134 yards receiving. Then moving on, there was some UFC action for you guys. Now this card was an absolutely stacked card, and I don't have time to get into all the fights, but there was Volkanovski beating Holloway, ending Holloway's title reign. Then Amanda Nunes defended her title. Jose Aldo lost to Marlon Moraes. However, I don't know about that one. But, the judges saw it differently. And then I can't remember that one. Anyway, let's just get into the main event. Kamaru Uzman versus Colby Covington, UFC 245. Now, this was a great fight. 2 guys coming into the fight, trash talking each other. Uzman saying he's going to shut Covington up, all that jazz. The challenger, Colby, took it to Uzman very early in the fight. And to be fair, was maybe winning the fight on points. I think after the fight they said they had Colby winning. One judge had Colby winning 3-1. One judge had a 2-2, and the other judge had a 3-1 to Uzman, I believe, or 3-1 to Colby as well. I thought the fight was a lot closer than that, I must admit. But, Uzman being the champ that he is, didn't let it get to the judges' scorecards, as he stopped Covington in the 5th round with a vicious overhand right. to his credit, Covington got up, tried to carry on fighting, but Uzman smashed him with another right hand, sent him to the canvas again. Ground and pound was all over him, and the ref stepped in. TKO Uzman, I think, was a great finish from Uzman. I think in the back of his mind, he might have thought that the judges could call this one either way. So I think he always, in the fifth round, always wanted to finish the fight and not let the judges take his belt away from him. So all credit to Uzman there for showing the heart of a champion and finishing Covington there in the fifth round. Now, I believe this fight will set up beautifully for a trilogy for these two fighters. I think Covington will go back and probably have one or two more fights before he fights Uzman again. Uzman might take on a few challenges, but I think he's just the best in the 170 division at the moment, 170 pound division at the moment. Then moving back home to South Africa, the MSL T20, that game was just played and it was an absolute cracker. The Spartans taking on the Paarl Rocks. What a game it was. The Spartans, batted first and scored 147. The Paarl Rocks bowled beautifully. It has to be said, really well to restrict that strong lineup to 147. AB de Villiers did score 51, but he was the only one who really got going. Everyone else just really struggled. Pick of the bowlers for the Paarl Rocks was Usuru Udana, who got 2 for 24 in his 4, and Tabraiz Shamsi with 2 for 29 in his 4. In reply, Paarl Rocks 148 for 2, so obviously winning this game by 8 wickets. But Henry Davids, with an absolute masterclass, opened the batting and just blasted the Spartans bowlers to all parts, who came with a mainly pace attack. Most of the bowlers close to sort of 140s or in the mid 130s, and just the pace on the ball just didn't work out for them. Henry David smashing 77 there, off I think it was 41 balls, and then Dwan Pretorius, new man in the Proteas test squad, came in and had an absolute belter as well, 43 of 21 balls. So Paarl Rocks walking away with the MSL title for the first time, and the first men's cricket title in Paarl for the last 20 years. So well done to the Paarl Rocks, well done to Faf getting that winning feeling back. Hopefully he can convert that into some positivity for the Proteas. Then moving on, last but not least, the Rugby Sevens was here in Cape Town over the weekend, and the Blitzbokke won all their games until the final, unfortunately, where they lost 7-5 to the New Zealand in a tight game. Now this game was a war of attrition at times. Great tackling, and the boys showed heart, but I just think that New Zealand learned from the mistakes of last week and just managed to put enough pressure on the box to make mistakes. I don't think the Blitzbokke were as clinical as they were last week, and I think that cost him. New Zealand matched us defensively, and we didn't really have any answers for that. So Blitzbokke will still, I think they still remain top in the World Series standings, having got to the final. But it's at least we're consistently getting to that final. Last season it was a bit of we get to the final, then we sort of go to the Bronze Cup final and that sort of thing. So the consistency looks to be back with the Blitzbokke. Okay guys, that is all I have for you tonight. Thank you once again for joining me. Don't forget to comment below if there's anything else you guys would like me to cover. I would gladly do it for you guys. Just let me know in the comments below. And also guys, don't forget to subscribe here on the YouTube channel, The Fair Digest, as well as the online magazine, thefairdigest.com, where I do write weekly articles on sport. If you haven't read it yet, you can go read my my article on the Manchester Monkey, obviously the racist incident in the Manchester Derby last week. And then just a little look ahead to the Wild Protea on Friday, where I will be discussing the newly announced test squad for the Proteas. So don't miss that, guys. Again, thanks for joining me and have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you Friday. Cheers guys, have a good one.